Hi, my name is Julie, and this is my Code Review 1 submission. I'll begin with the Good Teacher Review. For this project, we were instructed to create some variables to hold the instructor's name, the class name, and the gender pronoun. We then needed to add a string and concatenate that using the variables that we made, and needed to use the teacher's name at least 3 times. So when you run this, I'll refresh it, it brought up my string that was concatenated using the variables that I had placed in that document. Next was the striped rows. For this project, we needed to add classes in CSS to apply color to rows that met the modular operator calculation. If that was met, the CSS class was called to shade the row blue. If the mod calculation was false, white CSS class was called, and then a loop was added to test these parameters right here, and it would go through each of the rows. In the earlier if-then statement, we set a counter row of 10 that would default unless the user passed in a different amount. So when we run this, I'll open it up in my browser and go into striped rows, and there are the 10 rows. And then if I come up here to my URL and add a different number, say 25 rows will appear, and they will be striped. The next code is form helpers. Here we go. The form helpers project adds 3 functions, the submit tag, link to, and select tag. The submit tag function creates a button using a default value of commit. When the function is called, the user can pass a string parameter to override the commit string. The linked to function passes 3 parameters: the URL, text, and classes. If nothing is passed into the text, then it'll just display the URL. The next is the select tag function. Creates a select box and builds 3 arrays: values, labels, and classes. If statements are added to test the information passed in by the user. If no values are passed, it's going to return a message telling the user that no values provided for that select. If the count is 0 for the labels, the values will just be passed in to name the labels. If the count between the labels and the values are not equal, the user will receive a message saying that the label array and the value array must be the same size. I'll scroll down here a bit. We then called the functions down below within our form tag, and I'll display here what that will look like after we refresh. Here is the link, the URL link, and if you click on that, I'm going to open that in the browser so that it displays better. I'll refresh that back into the browser and then it'll display it. When we click on the Bacon Lovers URL, it then takes us to the local host Bacon, which is what we passed through. And then once we select, if we select Wisconsin here and hit send, then our selection comes up here with our get function and gets put into the URL. The inventory program that we did in week 4 had a unique feature that the other projects did not have, and that was a session component that tells the server that you're going to be tracking whether the user has visited that page or not. The inventory page displays multiple tables. One table to display the inventory array, which uses the for each loop to place the contents of the array into a row. And then it also, we add those into a drop-down select box in the delete record section. The add record and delete record functions allow the user to dynamically add and remove items to the inventory array. These are then saved within the session variable as well. So when I open this program and refresh, I'll put that in the browser as well. You get welcome to the inventory. Here is our inventory table. We then also have an add an item. So I could add once I click this add, it adds it up here into my inventory table, and it also adds it into my selection box down in the delete. I'll add another test, and then you can see that I can delete that and it will be removed. Once this URL is highlighted, if you click enter, that's going to refresh the session and start over with the 3 default values that we began with. This concludes my code review for week 1. Thanks.